Well, hello again everyone, welcome back, thanks for visiting once again, and we are now at the new modelling desk, and it's a lot wider and a little deeper, and sits straight onto the wall. As you can see, I've turned it through 90 degrees because this bench here bit is very long and stuck out beyond the window, so my wife didn't like that, so High Command decreed that it was to be put the other way round. But actually, aside from the fact that things are in different places, my drawer full of modelling goo jaws is over there as opposed to where it was over here. But aside from that, it shouldn't be a problem. But anyway, what are we here today for? We're here for the F4U 1D Corsair, which is the 132 scale model that I reviewed a little while back. I've decided to make this the next project, and I think that's a good one. I have a very specific plan for this particular model, and that is to depict the KD431 Corsair. And you may recall back along that I did a walk round tour of KD431 at the Fleet Air Arm Museum in Yeovilton, accompanied by David Morris himself. So I'm going to take this opportunity to shamelessly plug his book, which, if you're thinking of depicting KD431, or indeed, in fact, really any Corsair that is in the colours of the Royal Navy, the Fleet Air Arm, then you could do no worse than get this as a research piece, because it contains a wealth of information across its pages, and reference material is unparalleled, quite frankly. You can look inside and see, for example, some of the unique features like the throttle lever here, which is not like the F4U 1Ds and the heavily restored models of Corsair that you'll see in America at Oshkosh and places like that. But this inside is completely unique and is completely original as well. It's not been restored in any way at all, so it really is an archaeological piece. It's certainly worthwhile having a look, as you can see as you look through the diagrams here, or the pictures here. Everything is there in the smallest detail for you to see, very easily, and the detail is faithfully picked out in the I put that in my ditty box there in the model here. So as you know, the instructions always start off with a landscape format, and then they move very quickly to portrait with all the instructions and so on, and the precautions, don't drink your bath water, don't run with scissors, all that kind of thing, and through we go to the instructions. So we'll go pretty much straight on to step one. So I'm going to have a crack at step one at this point and get some of this equipment starting to be stuck in. I think, quite honestly, with quite a lot of this, I want to get some of this actually put in, and then prime, and then detail paint, and then start to assemble really after that. So you're not going to get to a fully assembled cockpit really until you get to really step 13. So it's a fair amount of work to do here, but there's an awful lot of, as you can see in there, very excuse me, very tiny components to put in. But what we'll do is we'll get straight down to it, and we'll be ignoring the painting instructions for now, but we will be putting in some bits and pieces. So I'm going to use the extra thin quick setting for this, and we'll start to put these in, and I'll just remark upon things as time goes by, and as we look at this. If I can remember what some of the components we're putting in actually do, I shall let you know that also. But let's get straight on with it. So I'm going to take the D13 component to begin with. Now, when you look at the instructions, you'll find that there are, nearly missed that, didn't I? There are two D13s, and they're identical. One goes on the port side and one goes on the starboard side. This is the port side one that we're going to put in now. So I think we'll just zero in just a little bit here, so that you can see a little bit of this. Hopefully I'm going to do most of this on camera. It would be a bit much if I didn't, eh? So we need to make certain that we get the there we go, we get that into its little slot here. So what we'll do is just a dab of extra thin quick setting, we'll put that over there out of the way, and this goes tacky very quickly. We can make sure that's vertical in its plane here, and there we go. So that's that done. I'm going to then look at P11. Now interestingly, P11 and P10, I think it is it P10 or P12? P10 and P11 are in fact clear parts. I was a little surprised by this, to be honest with you, but there it is, and the P11 part sits in there. I'm going to have to do that with some tweezers because it's quite dinky. I'm wondering whether I ought to use some thicker glue for this, to be honest with you, because there's that's quite gappy there. I think that might be a good idea actually. So let's get our extra thick cement. There we go, and give a little dab of that, and there's our little piece there. See how easy it is to lose these clear parts I meant, sorry about that. That's a bit of a mistake there. I'll leave it in. I don't I think there's a sprue nib on that I haven't taken off. I'll just quickly give that a I'm going to quickly have a look at that. Yeah, there's a little sprue nib on there. It's a hidden part, but it needs to be done properly, as you can probably understand. So let's put that away over there. Give a little dab of the cement, and then we can insert that into its little hole there, and as you can see, it sticks and stays very easily. So this is the rudder trim wheel that we're putting in here, and I'll just zero in just to show you that that's in properly there, and there it is. So that's the rudder trim wheel. I can't remember what this component is right now, but I'll find out and let you know. The next one we'll do the other clear part here. They're not, by the way, these parts aren't clear in the sense that you can see through them when they're in the cockpit. There's no need for them to be clear, but so for some reason Tamiya decided to do it that way. I seem to be somewhat less than dexterous at this moment. I just want to get that orientated to the right angle so that I can get this in without too much difficulty. Yeah, that will sit in like that, I think. What we'll do there is I'll just turn these around 180 degrees, and that should make things a little easier to fit in. Hopefully you can hear me all right. And yeah, see, that's the little test fit there, so we can do that. I'll do a quick dab of the old extra thick, put that away over there for a second. That gone in, there we go. I'm just going to have a look at that under the magnifier for a second, just to make sure it's absolutely correct, because as you know, with my roomy old eyes, I can't always see these things particularly well. Yeah, so that's fine there. That's the aileron trim wheel, that one. So the Corsair had trims on all three axes, so rudder, elevator and aileron. It's not particularly common for aircraft to have that, so we can put the elevator trim wheel in here, and that sits in there after that fashion. So there's a little tab for it to sit up in there, and a little awkward, this, isn't it? I'm assuming that that's not being interfered with in any way. Ah, it didn't go in for a very good reason, and the very good reason is that I didn't have the cursed thing fitted properly. So let's there we go. I think we're there now. That looks like where it ought to be. Or is it? Just make sure I'm putting this into the right place. Yes, I am. There we go. A bit of a glue there. The lighting's not particularly good for you, I note. Hang on a minute, I've got to get this to there we go. That might be a little better, eh? Bit of a dab of glue in there. And again, the advantage of extra thin quick setting is that it does set quite quickly. So what I can then do is give that a little dab in there. This doesn't need to be particularly strong, the weld just needs to be strong enough to hold it in place, and so that we can come to paint that. There we go. So that looks okay there, doesn't it? So we're well on the way. So we've got D13, P11, P10. I've skipped a step there really, but P10 and D21 will need to go in, and that sits by the look of it down in there like that. Fits very neatly in there. And as you know, with of course, as we know with Tamiya or Tamiya, oh, the light's switched itself off again. With Tamiya, then it's always very easy to put these things in. They the fits are very positive and crisp and easy. So I'm off camera there. And it's no good me showing you good fits if I'm not showing you the whole item, eh? So there we go with that. So that's D21 sorted. Let's see if we can move this. There we go. Excuse me. So those are those components. So we've got some exceptionally tiny little Johnsons here. So we have D15 and a D14. Now, can't recall immediately what D14 is, but D14 is different to D15 in the sense that it has a loop handle on it. So we'll grasp that off there. Just drop it into its little hole there, and a little dab of extra thin. And I know when I went through the cockpit on the Corsair, I did say what all these things were. I think that's the bomb release handle from memory, but I can't remember what this little handle is for. I'll do my research and I'll come back to you, or you could look at the video, which would tell you in no small amount of detail. There I am, shamelessly plugging my own videos. Yes, that goes in line. Oh, okay, and then there we go. I'm just going to look at that under the magnifier a minute. needs to be straightened round. You couldn't see this very easily because I've just pulled this underneath here, but there we go. Pull that back up again, so you can now see that's straightened round the right way pretty much. So we've got P10 done. We now want R43, which I think is that. Okay, so that's interesting. So the diagram shows us one little U-shaped locator here, and we've got two locators here, which means that I don't quite know what's going on there. Nope. Tweezers. Let's try tweezers, shall we? What we'll do is we'll grasp the unit from there, and just insert it onto there like that. Now, if I put that in there like that, this other section here, this other little tab here, doesn't look like it actually does anything, to be honest with you, so I'm not really clear on what that's there for, whether I ought to take it off, because it would certainly be easier to take that off now than later. Although if I'm careful I could probably take it off. Yeah, I could probably drop that. So here we go again. Grasp that. I could probably take it off again later. So let's put that on there. From underneath and from that front side there. There we go. So that's that bit inserted. The this lever here needs to go in just, I'll put that in after actually, because this little Johnson here needs to go in, and we need to put this in the right way round. So, and this is helped, we're helped by a little locating pin, so that spares anybody's blushes for putting this in the wrong way round. And that just sits straight in there like that. Most of these control panels and these instrument panels here were separate built panels, if you like, which would mean therefore that you can leave the seam line or the join line in perfectly happily. It wouldn't be an issue. Just nice little, we can do nice little delicate gluings here, and capillary action will be our friend. I'll just bear down on that for just a little bit. That looks about right there. I've only got a couple of components left to put back in, or to put in now. This lever here, and I feel weak as a baby because I can't remember what this component actually is, what this lever does, which is annoying, because I do, as you will all know, pride myself on at least having some background on what these things all do. So again, we're going to just glue this in very carefully into this section here with a bit of quick drying, and that just tacks it in place. What we can then do is, it doesn't tack it in place at all, so that didn't work, does it? So let's try that again. Oh, hang on a minute. And there we go, and we're there again. I I think it's because my glue pot here is nearly empty. Right. Turn that gently over here. Bond that in there. I keep getting this in the wrong place. I keep pushing my hands too far up, don't I? Hopefully you can see this. There we go. So that's that lever put in, and then there's one final component, which is this section here, and because that is angled inwards, we then have to make certain that we get that connected in the right manner. So we'll just test fit this to see, and that is the wrong way round, so we know that that is in fact the wrong way round. I'm going to deal with this. There we go. You can now see what the hell's going on, can't you? So, and you're saying, for Christ's sake, Zinners, you should have done that much earlier, old chap. And you're quite right as well, of course, I should have done. There we go. Oh, there we go. It's all happening this morning, isn't it? There we are, look, that's that done. Once again, we can just introduce those in with some extra thin quick setting, and that fits absolutely nicely into that gap there. And again, capillary action can be our friend, and that, by the looks of it, is step 1 completed. Step 2 is the right side of the console. We're 22 minutes in, so as you can see, this is there are a lot of operations here, and there's some things I've done in the background as well, but I'm going to do this, shall we say, a step at a time. And my proposal really with this is to take the parts off the sprues, clean them up, and then assemble them for you. So it might be that we do say 2 steps, or maybe even 3 steps, and then I might indeed go away and do some painting or something, but I'll take you through the whole thing as in as detailed a way as I can, unless of course you'd like me to do something a little bit more, shall we say, collected, where I show you lots of different components sort of coming together all at once, as it were. I'm not a great fan of editing videos. I'm a bit lazy, to be honest with you, but there you are. Anyway, I'm going to do some research on this little section here that we talked about earlier on, and see what I need to do about this little tab here that we talked about, because I think that might need to be removed. But I'll look forward through the instructions, and we'll take a crack at that. But just quickly, thank you very much for tuning in, and if you're tuning in for the first time and you've got this far, thank you kindly. I hope that you will subscribe. It's free to do, and it's, shall we say, good for me, and so I'm very much obliged to you if you do. And I hope that you'll join me on the remains of this project. There's quite a lot to go, and as I go through, I'll add my ideas in on what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and I hope it will be interesting to you anyway. So anyway, there we are, step 1 completed, and I'm very much obliged to you for your time. So thanks very much, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.